What's up? I'm back and I am bald. I'm not too proud of it, but I don't regret it. So that's good. Maybe. Today I want to talk about the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's something very simple and something we've all heard before, but sometimes when I make these videos, I try to take something really small and expand upon that and critique something very specific. But with the crucifixion and resurrection, it's very simple, but means so much. And that's why we need to really understand why Jesus died for us. We're going to be in John 19 and 20. Jesus is about to be crucified by the Jews, by the people who he lives with. And they're mocking him. They gave him a purple robe and a crown of thorns, calling him the King of the Jews. Pontius Pilate asked the people, "Who do you want to be crucified, Barabbas or Jesus Christ?" And the people say, "We want Jesus on that cross because he's a liar. He's not really the Son of God." If we look at Barabbas, we think of ourselves, or we should at least. Barabbas was a murderer. Barabbas was a criminal. And Barabbas deserved to be on that cross. He deserved death. But just like us, Jesus took his spot on that cross so that Barabbas didn't have to die. When we sin, we break God's heart. When we sin, we separate ourselves from God. So something needs to fill that gap. Something needs to replace our separation with God. And that's exactly what the crucifixion does. Let's talk about the actual cross. Jesus was on the cross for 6 hours. Imagine the pain, the suffering. He had nails in his feet and his hands. He couldn't breathe. When you die on the cross, it's not because of loss of blood. It's because you can't breathe, because you're constantly going up for air and you can't breathe. Even though Jesus went through the physical pain, the biggest pain he went through was separation from his Father. Since the beginning of time, Jesus and the Father have been one. They've been connected. But when Jesus died on that cross, he became sin. Jesus had never lusted, but he became rape. Jesus had never lied, but he became lying. Jesus had never stolen, but he became stealing. Jesus had never hated, but he became murder. And most importantly, Jesus became sin. That's the biggest pain he had gone through. It wasn't the nails. It wasn't not being able to breathe. It wasn't being mocked by his own people. Those things all hurt him. But the biggest pain he went through was separation from God. But in John 19:30, Jesus says, "It is finished." This is one of the last things he says. But what is finished? How can I believe in a God, the Son of God, that died just like me? I could die just like that. I can be on a cross for 6 hours and die. How come the Son of God dies the exact same way? That's what the resurrection is. Okay, we're going to dive into that in a little bit, but let's dive into what is finished. When we sin, we separate ourselves from God, right? We know that. We deserve hell. We deserve death. And we need something to fill that gap. When Jesus says it is finished, that is filling the gap. That is his forgiveness. That is his love telling us, you can be with me now. Remember the guy next to him on the cross who says, "Remember me when you enter your kingdom"? We see Jesus' love and his forgiveness when he says, today you will be with me in paradise. On the third day after Jesus' resurrection, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb. In front of his tomb, there was a big, huge boulder. Massive. A human could not move this boulder. A human. It was empty. The tomb was empty. The boulder in front of it was gone. This is where we get, he is risen. This is where we understand the resurrection. We can't have forgiveness of sin without the resurrection. If Jesus died on that cross, just like any other man, we would not be forgiven. Because he didn't defeat death. When he rose from the dead, he defeated death so that we can be with him forever. That's why, like me and so many other people, we wear the empty cross, not a cross with Jesus on it, because a cross with Jesus on it doesn't tell me that he'd gotten off of it. The empty cross means the cross didn't kill Jesus, and Jesus is still alive. Before we go, I want one verse to tell you. It's John 11:25. Jesus is talking to Martha. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me will live, even though they die. And then he also says, everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. With this, Jesus tells us, you can live life on earth. You can accept me on earth, but you're still going to die on earth. Right? That's part of the life. But after you die, you are not fully dead because you're with me. Right? When we die and have accepted Christ, that we enter our real home, our real kingdom with Jesus.